get recorded here because I know she answered. Hey, welcome to Home Buyer Seminar. I'm Bill Gross. We get together and talk about buying your first house or your next house. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate social media, along with my good friend and colleague.
Patricia Castillo.
And our good friend and lender.
Shannon the lender.
Shannon the lender. And what's happening in the home buyer market? People stop buying because the Super Bowl's this week? Are people still out buying, or houses on the market, off the market? What's going on, Patricia?
People are still out looking. In fact, I just scheduled a showing tomorrow for a client of mine, and the agent said, make sure you show up on time because there's 10 other showings scheduled. So
holy moly.
So just to give you an idea, there are a ton of buyers right now that are looking to buy, interested. I have a repeat client that I just sent over to Shannon. She sold her home last year. Her plan was to move to Vegas. She has a home out there now, but due to family circumstances, she decided to stay here in LA County. So now I'm looking to help her buy another home. So you never know. Things change with people. Circumstances change throughout their life, and they need to either sell or buy another home. But what I wanted to also mention, because this is exciting, so I'm working on an escrow where when we wrote the offer, we received a seller counteroffer. Now, it wasn't a multiple because it was only our offer that the seller was working with. And I just wanted to mention for the buyers that are listening, everything is always negotiable. So even though as a buyer or a seller, you've agreed to certain terms in the contract, whether it's maybe the seller's offering a termite inspection and they're offering to take care of the treatment if there's any findings of infestation or dry rot. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes the seller will say, we're not taking care of the termite. I know, Bill, you sell probate. A lot of your deals are as is, seller's not doing anything, and buyer takes on that responsibility of doing your inspections, and any findings are going to fall on the shoulders of the buyers. Well, things, like I said, are always negotiable. So we signed, my client signed a counter offer for the seller that said she's buying the home as is and would take care of, any findings. And basically all the inspections were going to be for informational purposes only. Usually that's something that's leveraged to get a credit or get some repairs done. So we had a bunch of inspections done last week, and the reports have been trickling in. And so now I'm renegotiating, right? Because now we have additional information that we didn't have when we accepted the counteroffer to purchase as is. So we're back on the negotiating table, and it looks like we're making some positive progress here. So I'm expecting to get that extra credit for my client that we weren't even planning on in the beginning when we first started. Yeah.
That's amazing.
One of the most underrated aspects of picking a realtor is their negotiation ability. Mm-hmm. And, you can earn your keep by being firm. Can I tell you a fun story about negotiating?
Absolutely.
So I had a buyer one time, or buyer's agent one time, called me up, and I forget what it was. I think it was commissions. We agreed to something. We're in contract, and he came back, and he was asking for some sort of concession. And I said, well, appreciate my seller, does want to agree to that. And the buyer's agent said, well, yeah, but I understand that's negotiable. And in his mind, negotiation meant, you say 5, they say 2, you go to 4 or 3. I said, no, you don't understand. Negotiation just means you make a request and we make a response to your request. So you can ask whatever you want, and we can say yes, or we can say no. We're saying no. That's a negotiation. And you can continue asking them and continue to say no. And so I think the misnomer is that just because somebody says negotiable assumes you have to move off of your initial position. Mm-hmm. You just have to acknowledge that it's not required by law. What would be wrong would be to say, oh, we can't give that credit because it's against the law. Or the price is fixed by the MLS is a famous case that you're not allowed to say. There's no such commissions fixed by the MLS. Right. It's not even mentioned by the MLS anymore. But that doesn't mean that because of that, it's just a downward spiral of fees. And so negotiations sometimes, it's kind of like, you can ask your mother and your mother says no. Well, you asked her, it doesn't mean she's going to agree to it. Same concept.
Right. Yeah. So everything is always negotiable. You can always ask. Right now, we're still in our contingency period. So my client has the opportunity to either move forward or cancel and get a full refund of her earnest money deposit. So let's see. We're going to keep pushing and hopefully get that credit so that we can finalize this and then remove our contingencies and move forward for closing. Yeah.
Yes, and I think the thing you point out is like sometimes having more information helps both sides reduce uncertainty, and then they're more able to agree to something, right? Sometimes the concern is, well, if we don't know and then we do an inspection and find more problems, are you going to ask for more? And so my answer normally is, well, just do the inspection and then we'll talk, because then we'll know. I had one of those today where the buyer was asking us to accept, well, if this becomes a problem, that you'll pay for it. I said, well, I don't know how much that is. Why don't you do the inspection and then tell me what that is, and then we can say yes or no, or we'll pay a half of it or something. But
and I've had that happen before too, and it's usually something that's related to that, like the termite, because when you come into a home, even if it's a home that's a flip or something that's the owners are living there, they've just remodeled it, a lot of homeowners don't continue that regular maintenance where they have their home treated for termites. So if there's termites in the attic, you can't see them, right? Nobody's going to be going up into the attic. I mean, how often do you go into your attic to check if you have termites, right?
Never.
So
I don't go. Well, I don't go because there might be termites. If I knew there were no termites, maybe I'd go.
So this home that we saw was completely remodeled, absolutely gorgeous. And you still want to have those inspections done because these are things that are not visual to the naked eye. So you definitely want to discover any of those findings. And then at that time, you have that leverage to negotiate again before you remove your inspection contingency.
Well, speaking of your naked eye, when I look at my naked eye, I notice interest rates just bump below 7%. Just good work, Shannon. We were going to not have you on the call this whole time here. I think you missed one. You're off. And then
rates are starting to
let Shannon
hopefully
on, and then all of a sudden, 6.9. Yeah, let Shannon on the call. Good job, man. What's going on with interest rates?
No, interest rates are they were steady for a minute, but we're starting to see them creep down a little bit. So again, let's see what this new administration has to offer. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of buyers come out, very excited, trying to apply. So I'm seeing, like I said, the sentiment there is changing. Everyone's coming out. They're excited. So I'm excited to see again how things turn out. But rates are great. Again, I always say, don't go based on the rate. Go when you're ready, plan, strategize, because when the opportunity's there, you got to move on it quickly. So again, I have clients that we have 6-month plans. We have a year plan, right? It's okay. That's great. Plan ahead. Let's get things going. Just because you're with a lender doesn't mean you have to buy something right now. It's, hey, let's see where you're at and let's see what we can do to get you to where you want to be.
And also, if you're not ready right now, you can't take advantage of the rate anyhow, right? You can only lock in you can lock in and shop. You're gonna pay a higher price. You can lock in with a property, but you may not find the property.
Exactly.
But
So even if you look at the rate today, you're not even going to be able. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to lock into your hit escrow, which could be a month, 2 months, 3 months from now.
Right. Or it could be a week. Depends. You find the right house.
Yeah, if you work with the right agent, like Patricia or Bill, you can, or
Patricia.
Yeah,
not me. I'm not really the right agent. Well, the truth is, I don't really work with buyers. I'm more of a listing agent, and I work with Patricia. Frankly, anybody who calls me to buy a house, I pretty much refer them to her because she really works that side of the business better than I do. She's a lot nicer than I am. I'm just not that nice a guy. Because for sellers, I tell them I'll fight to the death to save your equity. So I'm really not that side. People understand the difference of the business, but I do think it's important to find your niche. And she is really good buyers and all over. What surprises me, Tricia, is how you're able to sell in the 562. I know you've done stuff in San Gabriel Valley. I know you've done stuff out in the IE. It's really unusual.
On the Lancaster, I see.
Lancaster, Palmdale. I mean, I'm primarily a listing agent as well, but I do help buyers that are referred to me or that are previous, past clients, repeat clients. And so I get a lot of referral clients. And so those are the buyers that I help, and some of my repeat clients as well that maybe sold their home and now they're ready to buy a different home.
Yeah.
Also, I want to go back on the credit situation, just on the lending side, so everyone, first-time homebuyers know, when you're getting a credit from the seller, it's important to know that they can credit all your closing costs, right? But when it comes to your down payment, usually you have to come up with that down payment, because then it's considered a gift of equity, which that can only be done with a family member. So I've had this happen where I've had great agents such as yourself, Patricia, that they've got a credit that's over their closing costs. So we've had to figure out how to do buy downs and put that money to work. But
Right.
it's just interesting fact to know, hey, they can't, a lot of clients ask, oh, can they credit my down payment? And it's like, not exactly.
Right. You have to put the money towards closing costs. But the good thing is there's a variety of closing costs. You have your property taxes,
Yep.
insurance, your
Yep.
title and escrow fees,
Yep.
so there's, and the loan fees and
Yep.
that
Rate
interest
buy
and everything.
downs too.
So you definitely have a good, different options to apply any credit that you get in escrow.
Most
And I think I
definitely.
heard you. I'm sorry. I thought I heard you say, Patricia, that you're closing an escrow today or tomorrow or this week or something.
Tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow.
If you don't mind disclosing, where's the property and what was the process for the insurance? Was it normal? Was there any hiccup there? Was any, hey, we need to do another review before it closed? What was the process? Or maybe you didn't notice it and the insurance company is doing something, but I'm just curious, did you notice any changes in the procedure regarding the insurance?
So yeah, that's a good question, Bill. I've referred my clients to a couple of different insurance agents because the prices are just very different. I mean, so this property is in San Dimas, so a pretty good, nice area, and it's not very close to the mountains.
Not too far though. I mean, San Dimas is very nice, but also there's some hilly parts
Right.
and it's not too far from, I don't think it was fire damage to San Dimas, but it's not too far from, you talk about 3, 4,
Yeah.
5 miles maybe.
Right. I mean, it's a mountainous community, right? It's surrounded
Yeah.
by the foothills and the San Gabriel
Beautiful.
Mountains. But
Yeah.
so she was able to get a couple of different quotes, and for now, she went with the lower cost. But they're ranging between $300 from one insurance company to the next. So I have another escrow that's closing in a couple of weeks, and that one also had like a about $200 difference. No, that one was about $150 difference monthly.
Monthly.
It was really, yeah. One quote was from Farmers, and then we had another quote from Bamboo Insurance. So the other thing to know is that you need to get a policy that will satisfy the lender just so you can close escrow. That's what I told my client. I said, just get coverage for right now because we need to move on with the loan and the loan process and underwriting. But you can always change out your insurance after you've closed escrow if you're not happy with it.
Well, yeah, there's some cost. It'd be fun if you have a client who got 3 quotes. It'd be interesting to see all 3 quotes and see the price difference and I'm sure the coverage difference, right? One of the biggest aspects of the fires is, like in my neighborhood, though we didn't have any fires that no houses burned down, but just to use the map or the Palisades, I have a client whose house burned down. They called me up a month ago or 6 weeks ago about listing the house. It was a 2,000 square foot house on a 6,000 square foot lot, kind of like a typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath Palisades, built 1960, no major upgrades, worth $2 million. And those houses are being bought, torn down, put a 4,500 square foot house on the pad and sold for $7 million. That's kind of the market. Well, what's the insurance worth? Well, really nothing because the lot's worth $2 million. The house is negative. And so you can't get guaranteed replacement costs because you can't get a 1960 house thrown up on your lot with that kind of deferred maintenance or whatever. People sometimes will want to get a guaranteed replacement policy, which means a 2,000 square foot house built brand new, way more expensive. And so a lot of people went without insurance and, normally it's not a problem. Your house burns down and they would just buy the lot from you or you would get a payoff and you sell the lot. Obviously, with the Palisades, it's a unique situation. But my point is that there's different costs of insurance, but there's also appropriate coverages, and that's where the insurance agent also comes in. It'd be really interesting. I don't know if your client would allow you to do it. Would be to take the 3 quotes and just line them up one by one, and what was the company, and there's a difference between companies, obviously, and then the price. $150 a month difference is a lot of money for most people. That used to be a car payment. Now that's I think your Netflix and your Paramount Plus subscription, and maybe a DoorDash dinner. But still, $150 is, to me, that's real money. And then to compare the coverages, I think we might find some interesting lessons learned there, or maybe even ask your client why they picked the one they did, what was appropriate for them. And
Right.
I think that'd be a really interesting episode to do.
Yeah, I will. I'll ask if I can share that information.
Yeah,
So I can just take off the property addresses and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And these are 6-month policies. So I'm looking at, this is a 6-month policy. So farmers was 1,800.
For 6 months, so $300 a month. Well, that's not bad for $300 a month. For what was the house value?
770.
That's not bad. I bet that sounds like
770,000.
yeah. Yeah,
But
I mean,
like, I'm with State Farm, and we've already been, they've been pretty much stating that State Farm is going to raise their rates like 22% because of all of the fires and the claims. So we get to pick up, that bill.
thank you. Appreciate that. We have USAA, so we get to pick up our share too, though. They're pretty competitive, but still, I think we're going up 15-20% as well. I think everybody is. It's just, we have to pay for because the poor people in the Palisades, when their $8 million house burns down, they only get $3 million of coverage. So we should feel bad for
it's
them.
a shame that, it's a shame that their house burned down. It's just also a shame
is.
we have to all share in that cost.
It is a shame. I don't know why I have to pay for it. That part I haven't figured out yet. Why am I paying for the $8 million house that burned down? They never invited me for dinner. I never stayed there or anything, So, but whatever. Okay, what else? Shannon, what's on your plate here? What's going on? What's the excitement? What's the news? Thank you for getting the rates down. What's going forward?
No problem. I mean, I'm getting a ton of applications in, trying to see where people land at.
Nice.
And no, I think I'm seeing the same thing. Insurances. One thing I do want to comment on the insurance, if for whatever reason, you're, and I have had this too, where people are not getting quotes in that specific area, or this person can't get insurance, and the California Fair Plan is the very last option for them.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, just know as a buyer, the California Fair Plan is the only insurance that I've worked with that needs to get paid outside of escrow. So you need to take a picture of the property, yourself. It can't be from the MLS. They get some information, and then you have to pay that up front. Because I've had some buyers that, kind of shocked, like, I have to pay this now, and it's like, yes, this insurance, they need to get paid outside of escrow. Everyone else can get paid through escrow. So I usually give my little spiel that, hey, just an FYI, the property inspector and the appraiser need to get paid outside of escrow. Now I'm going to have to throw in the California Fair Plan as well. So when I'm doing my numbers, just know, hey, these people need to get paid outside. Everyone else gets paid when the deal closes and you get your house. So maybe next week I'll do a segment of, hey, here are the potential closing costs, and here's who gets paid outside and inside of escrow, just so you're financially and mentally prepared, for what's to come.
Now, when they pay outside of escrow, though, you can instruct the escrow to note it's on the closing statement paid outside of escrow.
Yes.
Just like we have deposits sometimes in probate, we make a deposit directly to the estate, not through escrow. It's still in the closing statement, and it's part of the negotiation and fees and all that kind of thing. So sometimes the escrows don't understand that just because the money's outside of escrow, it still in your closing statement. They just note funds paid outside of escrow and what the dollar amount is, and it should balance. There's a charge and there's the amount they paid. So very good. Okay, well, yeah, let's do that. Let's love to see what that looks like, the FAIR Plan and those numbers. Bring that back next week as well. So Shannon, busy, sounds like you're busy. We'll let you go, and we're going to wrap up here. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can reach out to me myself, 661-317-8484 on my Instagram, with Shannon on Instagram.
And for those who are keeping track, this is the 6th week in a row that I've not made fun of his Instagram handle. So I'm gonna. That was.
I'm gonna be
that was a
teasing. I'm gonna put
2024
that on my
joke.
name next week. I'm
It's
when
a
the thing
2024 joke. It's not a 2025 appropriate joke anymore. And Patricia, so once I get a hold of you about buying or selling throughout Southern California, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
My cell phone, 323-365-9909.
Call her early and often. And I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate. Love to help you if you're looking to buy or sell. And typically, if you're going to buy, I'm going to introduce you or reintroduce you to Patricia. But love to help you if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out, text, email, or call. And otherwise, we'll do this next week. Thank you for everybody. If you like this, hit the like button, subscribe. If you have questions, put questions in, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.